Hey guys, what's going on? TZ Champ here, and welcome back to another video. So, Super Mario Brothers movie, is it worth the watch? Well, I am happy to report that I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Now, there might be some people who would disagree and say that the movie wasn't as good as I thought it was. But of course, that's always up to everybody's opinion, so take my opinion with a grain of salt until you've watched it yourself. But what I can say is, as someone who grew up playing Mario, like Super Mario Brothers games, I haven't played all of them, but I played quite a few of them. In fact, I believe it was Super Mario Brothers 2 that released on the DS that when I first got the DS, it was like the first game that I got, and I literally played that so many times. I was like practicing speed runs basically whenever I had that game. So it was nice to see so many Easter eggs in the movie. The movie wasn't how I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a little bit different, but it was actually very interesting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But it's visually visually like jaw dropping. They literally put like they must have been in the department. They were like, all right, so what's the budget for the animation? And they were just like, yes. Like, I'm talking about some of the best looking scenes I have ever seen in an animated film. Holy cow, was it good. Like the animation and stuff was just phenomenal. I loved it so much. I like how they showed off like some of the different aspects from the game. There was I don't want to get into like spoiler like, you know, areas and stuff, but you've seen some of the stuff from the trailers, at least a little bit. But there is some really cool stuff that they've put in the show or in the movie. And I mean, it was really something. I mean, it was awesome. I enjoyed it a ton. The story was not exactly the like most creative thing in the world, I guess. It kind of reminded me of isekais from like, you know, just regular anime and stuff. It kind of gave me those kind of vibes. But it was really, really cool, the story that they went with towards the end. There's a couple of things that I would like critique a little bit. One of which is I don't want to go into spoilers too much, but I will share this part. There's not much screen time of Mario and Luigi. Even though this is supposed to be a Super Mario Brothers movie, this was more of a Mario movie kind of thing. Luigi spent most of his time somewhere else, and not really doing anything. It was just random cutaways, basically, that you would see him. I think the actors did an amazing job, by the way. A lot of people were skeptical about Chris Pratt playing, you know, Mario and not having the Isami, you know, voice and stuff, but he did really good, actually. He kept that kind of like Brooklyn accent for the most part. It just wasn't a strong, heavy hitting one. It was more of like a, you know, it was subtle, and I liked it. And then there was occasionally, there's a part in the film and stuff where he actually goes, you know, into that full on Italian Isami, you know. And it was so good. It was well done. It was very well done. I think he did a wonderful job. Jack Black as Bowser, freaking hilarious. I mean, it was hilarious. There was in fact, I think he might be one of my favorites from the movie. Chris Pratt killed it as Mario for sure. And Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, another one of my favorites. Like, that was hilarious as well. But there was so many like slight little cameos here and there of different characters and stuff that was pretty fun. They had a lot of stuff that was very, very interesting. I love the kart racing that they did for Mario Kart. That was great. They had a couple little, Easter eggs there. And like there was just some random stuff like if you're not looking for the Easter eggs, you're never going to find them. But some of them were just so spectacular. Like it gave me like a chuckle when I first saw them. Like towards the beginning of the movie, Mario ends up in a without spoiling anything, he ends up in a sewer, okay? Like let's just say that. Like he ends up in a sewer and there's a sign hanging in the background that says level 1-2. Now, if any of you know the original Mario, like Super Mario 2, for instance, I know for a fact, I believe, but level 1-2 was the sewer level, or I wouldn't call it the sewer level, but it was the one where you went down the pipe and then you were in the under part, and then it played, like the little dun 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 dun, that kind of music. Also, the music was greatly used in this. There were some classic Mario themes that were played, but in different ways. It wasn't like the original, like, stuff. For instance, the da-da-da-da-da was played on a piano by Bowser, which was hilarious. One of the tunes was a ringtone for one of the characters, which was funny. And I mean, it was great. It was a fun experience, is what I would call it. It was super fun. I had a blast with it. There were some dialogue lines that were great, like the princess is in another castle. That was a hilarious dialogue line. There's just a lot that they talk about and they go over that I think is hilarious. But you would, I think if you went to this movie as like just a fan of the games, you would absolutely love it because there's a lot of stuff that they include. There's even like some 2D shots basically where it zooms out to the side and then you get to see them running like they're doing platforming for the levels and stuff. There's a couple shots like that, which is super fun. And then there's some 3D shots, like if you're playing Mario 3D. I think that's the name of the game. I can't remember what the actual name is, or Mario World 3D or something like that, or 3D World. Anyway, like there's some shots like that as well, which is pretty cool. They even had a pipe puzzle scene at one point, which I thought was hilarious. I mean, there's so much like references to the games. I honestly believe this might have been the one time that I will admit that a video game movie was done correctly. Not to say that there haven't been some that weren't done correctly. For instance, the Mortal Kombat movie that came out a few years ago, that one was done really good. I won't say it was done perfectly, but it was done good. But this one was done like really, really, really good. It's not a perfect movie. Like I said, there's some things that I'm not too crazy about. Peach was never captured in this one, which I think their whole point was, we're in modern day media and stuff like that. It's basically like a taboo for a female to be a damsel in distress at this point. So they didn't let her be a damsel in distress, which I thought was kind of, at the time I was like, it's kind of dumb. They're trying to push some of that, that narrative kind of thing. Cause I hate it when they do that in movies. Like, I honestly don't care, but when it's kind of like a forced thing, it really irks me. Like, a lot of Marvel stuff that they've been doing recently is just, bleh, it's terrible. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way, but this one was not forced, and it actually worked out pretty well, in my opinion. I liked it. Again, though, I still think that they should have done something different with Luigi because basically him and Peach switched roles he ended up being the damsel in distress basically the whole movie, which is why I said that there's not much screen time. It's more of him just being a cutaway. And like, it just didn't make sense because literally they titled the movie Super Mario Brothers Movie. So it's kind of weird that they title it Super Mario Bros. Movie, but they don't really have spotlights for both for the most part. I mean, towards the end, you'll get a little bit of something, but that's it. Like that, it's literally at the end. So I think that they kind of missed the mark on that part. I did watch Moist's review before I gave mine to kind of talk about some stuff, so you might hear some things that are a little bit similar. I was trying to figure out, what other people's perspectives were on it versus my own, and I was actually going to make this last night because I went and saw the movie last night, but by the time I came back home, I was like, all right, I got work in the morning, I can't do this. So I watched his review, and then I went to bed. So here we are the next morning, and I was supposed to go to work today, and then I was sick this morning. So I'm home, but I'm making this video. But he kind of had like the same thought that I did, which was either Peach should have been captured because that's more accurate to the game lore, or no one should have been captured. And then it should have just been, Peach, Mario, Luigi, Toad, all of them like going on this adventure together instead of Luigi being the one that's captured the entire time. But I guess they had to drive some kind of like narrative thing for the story as to why Mario would help. But I feel like they could have done that anyway, based off of like one of the first scenes when Mario sees Peach. He kind of like is like, madly in love with her like right away, because they have like this little moment where it was like a love at first sight kind of thing, and then it gets interrupted with a little bit of comedy and stuff, which was funny. But I feel like they still could have done that like without having Luigi be captured, but overall I would say it was a very good movie for the most part. I would give it, for a rating, I would give it so I usually, the way I do my ratings and stuff, I've only done one so far, which was for a video game, and I broke it into different categories, and then I gave it a rating based off of each category. I don't know how I'm going to do it for movies, and that whole system seems a little bit complex because it doesn't exactly work how I want it. But I also don't want to copy other people's, formats. So I wanted something to be a little bit more original. But that's really hard to do when you're doing like reviews and stuff like that. But I would probably rate it as an 8.5. An 8.5 out of 10. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie, and it's a little short. The pacing is a little strange. Now, I know some people said that the pacing was awful. Other people said that the pacing was fine. I'm kind of on the latter there. The pacing was fine, but it did seem slightly rushed. Like, I was hoping to see maybe, a little bit more adventuring through the different levels or different worlds and stuff like that. But that didn't happen, which was kind of a letdown, but it's okay. Because there's only 3 like locations you see the entire time, basically for the entire movie. So I guess for an hour and a half, I mean, it's not bad. But I do believe it could have been fleshed out a little bit more, made it a 2.5 hour, and explored some other worlds. Even some of the like castle checkpoints and stuff like that would have been fun. It also shows this like training area where Mario has to train, and it's platforming like the original game, but it's almost never used again. So it's like they're training him, and that's what got me excited. is they were training him to like be ready to do all this, and then I was thinking that we were going to actually get to see him like progress through levels and stuff like that, which I thought would be funny, and then he just doesn't, and I was like, okay. But there were some funny moments. There was a lot of Easter eggs, like the castle with the flag that was funny. There was just so much. There was a lot, and I thought it was very fun and enjoyable as a fan of the games. So yeah, with that being said, 8.5 is what I rated as out of 10. So let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there something else you would have rated it? Just let me know. And like and subscribe, follow, share this with anybody that you know and stuff. See if they agree as well. And also be sure to follow me on Twitch. I stream there all the time. I've started streaming on Kick as well for restreaming, but still haven't decided how that's going to go yet. As of right now, nothing is even happening on there. I might just fully dedicate to Twitch. So we'll see where that goes from there. But also follow me on Twitter, because I do updates and stuff like that, and I push polls out and stuff on Twitter to see what you guys want to see me record next or stream next and all that kind of stuff. And I give updates on my Twitter as well. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Laters.